Welcome back everybody to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 31, Bonus Story, Yahiko's Battle 1. This is a three-part bonus story that is kind of told what I would normally assume is kind of at the tail end of the volume, since it's kind of considered a bonus story, but in the 3-in-1 it's being put in the beginning of the next volume. As you can see, we have here the chapters or the act names, and with the page name or the title page. But I really enjoy this act, and I enjoy what is being set up here as this kind of like bonus thing. Even though it's kind of being titled as bonus content, it's really just kind of taking a break from the action, I guess, the drama. It's kind of taking the story's taking a step back and breathing, allowing us to kind of see what these characters are like during the dull moments of life, what life is like in late 1800s Japan during the Meiji era, when ninjas aren't involved and hitokis aren't kidnapping people, and businessmen aren't secretly trying to become drug lords. This is what happens. And in all of this, I just love that the story is centered around Yahiko rather than Sanosuke or Kenshin or Kaoru. But there is a moment here that kind of makes me wish that we would get some Kaoru content, but I'll get to that in a sec. Let's get into the chapter summary review, and we'll talk about the highlights, because I really am excited to talk about this. Kaoru can't seem to find Yahiko anywhere. The group gets into an argument over the whereabouts of his location. Kaoru thinks that Yahiko is off getting food, Sanosuke thinks that Yahiko is off chasing skirts, and Kenshin thinks that Yahiko is off training swords. But Sanosuke and Kaoru collectively agree that Kenshin is completely wrong. When Yahiko finally appears, he seems to be secretive about his location, so the group follows him the next time that he sneaks out, leading him to the Akabeko. Turns out that the group were all right about Yahiko's reasons for disappearing. Yahiko gets a job at the Akabeko, where he's using his job for extra strength training for his swords, and he helps out the new girl, Tsubame, at a food place. The new girl runs into these thugs who are pressing her for a kimono to rob the Akabeko, and Yahiko steps in to stop them. So, as I said, these characters don't really have much going on. I think I used the term laundry day earlier. If not, it was in a different take of this video. But Kenshin is actually doing his laundry, and Sanosuke is trying to cook some fish or something. He doesn't really have a whole lot going on, and Kaoru is attempting to run her dojo. Again, they live in a dojo that should be operating. But like I said, the whole point of this is what these characters are doing when there isn't a whole lot going on. And it's funny enough to say that all of these people, they focus their attention on the child of the group. It's his secrecy that is causing the most excitement in all of this. As far as Kaoru goes though, I would really like to see a bonus chapter on Kaoru trying to recruit people, kind of seeing what happens when she is actually trying to get more members on top of Yahiko, and seeing her kind of fail, I want to see the reasons why more people aren't trying to, or why more people don't ever come along to join the school. But back to Yahiko, Kaoru and Sanosuke really seem to think that the reason that Yahiko is not around is because he's doing something that is, I guess, a little bit immoral, or maybe just not in the mindset of being a studious student of the swords, unlike Kenshin. And they seem so passionate. I know that it's all for comic relief, but I know that Yahiko is kind of a brat, so maybe that's why that's where their minds go. But Kenshin, on the other hand, is really trying to believe or give Yahiko the benefit of the doubt that the reason that he's off leaving in secrecy is because he's trying to train in his swordsmanship. I think it's kind of sweet of Kenshin to kind of have that benefit of the doubt to his friends. But I think it also just kind of shows that Kenshin really seems to believe in Yahiko's conviction to be a swordsman, which is not wrong. It's actually very accurate. He really wants to be just like as strong as Kenshin. But as far as the story being set up, how life in the Meiji isn't perfect, we find through what Yahiko is doing when they finally do follow him, that he's working at the Akabeko. They find that there's a new employee there who is being pressed by these people to give her a key mold so that they may break into the Akabeko and rob it. What is being set up here is kind of like the old world having a difficult time adjusting to the new world, adjusting to social norms that are no longer accepted, and I guess trying to break off a 300-year-old tradition. And what we find is that apparently Tsubame, her family is from a samurai family, and the people that are pressing her, I guess formal feudal lords or a family that had a samurai serving them. But as far as how Japanese social systems worked before the Meiji, was that there were feudal lords, and the samurai would work for them, and they would serve them, and then it would just kind of tinker down the system. And so Tsubame's family actually worked for these people, or her father worked for served this guy's family. And so he is not wanting to abandon that idea just because samurais don't exist in this new era, and so he is forcing her to continue living this way, even though it is a thing of the past. And I actually went into like a whole deep dive on how this stuff works. I'm actually going to put a link in the description if you're interested in reading. It has like little bullet points on stuff from Edo, the Meiji, how it had stuff like the Bakumatsu, the whole Boshin War, economic systems, and moving forward, like Meiji is really like the first semblance of modern Japan. How like the military moved forward, and it has like a little bit of the Russo-Japanese War. Pretty enticing stuff if you're interested in that kind of thing. But that's kind of how I found out how elaborate this social system works. Where at the top it's the emperor, underneath it is the court imperials, then it's the shogun, and then the daimyos, or the feudal lords, and then it's the samurai, who are I guess the keepers of the peace, the ones that are kind of are expected to set the example for how the society should run underneath them. And then after that, it is the agricultural, the farmers and stuff. Like, I guess through Confucius beliefs, it is believed that no society can run without agriculture, and underneath them is the artisans who would craft like things that you don't necessarily eat. And then finally at the bottom, it is merchants, who are at the very bottom for a very interesting reason, in that they can make money without actually producing things. And that's kind of why they're at the bottom, where like they found a way to make money, but they actually don't go into creating anything. It's interesting that is how things were back in Edo. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole idea that is being portrayed here in this story with these people pressing Tsubame. They like the way things were. They don't like the way the Meiji is set up. He thinks that Tsubame's family still should serve them and listen to his orders. And Yahiko actually steps in and says that 10 years into the Meiji and you're still trying to use samurai depths, like it doesn't work that way anymore. And that's kind of how the chapter ends. I really like this stuff. I really enjoyed taking the time to go into this deep dive. I encourage you guys to go check that out yourself if you're interested. You'll learn some really cool things. I have a better understanding of the Boshin Wars, the civil war that ended the Tokugawa era. I didn't know it was called the Boshin Wars up until now, but cool. And that is Act 31. We have 2 more acts for this little bonus story. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel and leave a thumbs up and comment down below what do you guys think of this little setup, this little mini arc that is being told here with what how life goes on in the Kamiya dojo when things are kind of boring. Where the most exciting thing is happening to the youngest member of the Kenshin-gumi. I will see you guys in Act 32. For now, bye, cha.